Something really interesting happened today that I thought you'd want to know about. It's really breaking news, and that is that Rabbi Tuli Weiss of Israel 365 News and the national religious broadcasters, they got together in Nashville today and they signed a biblical Heartland resolution. That's the name of it. And the whole idea is to get the media and anybody who's in journalism, television, radio, to stop using the term the West Bank for the biblical Judea and Samaria. And this is so important because, first of all, King David ruled in Hebron for 7 years, and then in Jerusalem after that for many more years. So it really is the biblical heartland of Israel, of the Jewish people. And one of the interesting things about that is that the place where Joshua crossed over with the Hebrews into the Promised Land was just opposite of Jericho, and Jericho is in modern-day West Bank. So by calling it the West Bank, it's really denying the biblical history of the heartland of the state of Israel. So by changing back to the historical truth, instead of using this esoteric term, the West Bank, it would restore the biblical heartland of Judea and Samaria and those name places that are in the Bible. And interesting that this should happen. I was thinking to myself about this, that, Joshua crossing into the Promised Land across from Jericho and having the name changed back to the biblical heartland names of Judea and Samaria kind of indicates to me that they are about to cross over into the eternal promised land. We are, when they change these names back to the biblical names. And just think about the fact too that Jacob's well is there in Sychar, and Jacob's well is still there. It's inside of a building now that's protecting it, and they can still put a bucket down, reel it down and get water out of Jacob's well where Jesus sat down and, with the woman at the well. It's truly a profound miracle that happened there. So that area was in Samaria, and Jesus was letting the woman know that, you didn't have to go to Jerusalem to worship God anymore, that it was going to go worldwide worshiping God, and that it's all going to come back to Jerusalem in the end. God tells the end from the beginning and the beginning to the end. So basically, it started out in the Garden of Eden there in Jerusalem, and then it winds up going back to the Garden of Eden in Jerusalem with the King of Kings returning. And a lot of towns are there, like Bethel, and this would be a really biblically significant resolution for people to stop using the ridiculous term West Bank, because it really is the West Bank of the Jordan River. And this is such an incredible situation that the national religious broadcasters in Nashville have signed this resolution for the world to stop referring to the biblical heartland as the West Bank and return to Judea and Samaria. And also we know that Mary, she went to visit Elizabeth and Zechariah in the hills of Judea. So she visited there and stayed with Elizabeth, and John the Baptist was born there. We know that with Elizabeth, as soon as Mary spoke to Elizabeth, the baby leaped in Elizabeth's womb because the Messiah was there. There's so many places within Judea and Samaria that are so biblically significant, and this resolution will restore the truth and take away the lies. So my understanding is that it is in Jericho, where they're trying to have a seat of government of a Palestinian state. And so this would be really interesting if everybody stopped calling it the West Bank and went back to the biblical truth. No Palestinian state, and things being restored to the biblical account. It's truly astonishing that they're doing this, and I know that Benjamin Netanyahu is going to jump on board with this. According to what they said, they were meeting in Nashville. They did that today or yesterday, and that they are going to be presenting, you know, the entire resolution, which they read in a video that I watched. So just so you know, this is what they're trying to do to restore things, and so incredible at a time where we are watching for the rapture so we can cross over the Jordan River with the Lord going before us and taking us into the eternal promised land. We're so close, and this is just one more sign. I thought that you would be excited to hear this breaking news. And first, when I was looking at the NRB, my little musical mind went, Nashville Rhythm and Blues. But it's really the national religious broadcasters that met there and made this biblical Heartland resolution and signed it with the Jews that, you know, do Israel 365 and other leaders in Israel. So this is really something breaking and really interesting, and we'll just have to keep seeing what prophecy is fulfilled from here. Obviously, this is a sign that we are crossing over pretty soon if the names go back to the way they were. And I've always called them that anyway, so I've never called it the West Bank. So, breaking news, thought I'd let you know, and I hope you have a good evening. And thank you for your support of my channel. It's greatly needed, and it's a real huge help and blessing. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you in the next video.